What is good, YouTube? It's your boy TooSmooveEli back with another reaction video. Today it's a informational video. It is 6 key moments from YNW Melly's double murder trial. I think they're looking to give him death penalty, not even life or years. They're looking to give him death penalty. And I didn't know, but I've knew of Melly way before y'all and the murder on my mind shit. That's when a lot of y'all got put on Melly, but before on murder on my mind, bro. Me and my cousin put me on the Melly way in high school. We put the whole, man, it was a movement for real shit before he was even big like that. Knew that nigga, all his old songs and shit. So like when this happened, when I heard he did it to Sack Chaser, I said, well, I not he, but when I heard Sack Chaser passed away, bro, I got so mad, man. And I only know one of the niggas' songs, and it's one of my songs I love. But 6 key moments. I want to see something. I might watch 2 videos because I'm trying to see. I low-key want to see a video with like the videos of like surveillance footage and shit. I don't care about all the talking. I want to literally just see surveillance footage. But let's get into it, man. Turn this thing up.
And Mr. Demons responds very succinctly, "I did that." Shh.
More than 4 years
really
after
just
2
said,
young rappers are shot to death,
RP
one of
Sack
their best
Chaser,
friends,
RP
YNW Melly, goes on trial, accused of murdering them.
Why he would commit such a heinous crime against his own 2 best friends. For no reason.
YNW Melly's attorneys say he's the victim of a sloppy police investigation. We look at the top 6 moments from day 1 of YNW Melly's trial.
Look like a 2-year-old kid, bro.
I'm Anjanette Levy, and welcome to Law and Crime Sidebar Podcast. Jamel Demons' double murder trial is officially underway in Broward County, Florida. Demons is known to the hip-hop community as YNW Melly.
Like,
Melly faces
if he did it, bro, why? Like, that's the only why, my nigga. There was like, bro, did them niggas like cross you that? Like, what? Why, bro? Some of these niggas' decision making.
Murder for the October 2018 shooting deaths of his friends Christopher Thomas, who went by YNW Juvie, and Anthony Williams,
where the fuck Juvie
who went by YNW Sack Chaser.
It's not the time for that, but
Melly,
that's a song.
Juvie, Sack Chaser, and a 4th YNW member, Portland Henry, also known as YNW Bortland, left a late-night recording session on October 26, 2018. They were in an SUV driven by Bortland when Juvie and Sack Chaser were shot. Henry showed up at a hospital in Miramar, Florida, and claimed they were the victims of a drive-by shooting. But prosecutors say that's all a lie. Months later, Melly and Bortland were charged with their murders. Prosecutors say Melly was sitting in the back seat and shot his friends. Meanwhile, Melly says he's innocent. He faces the possibility of the death penalty if convicted. And he could get the death penalty more easily than past convicted defendants because of a recent law change which allows a jury to impose the death penalty by a vote of 8-4. Joining me to look at the top 6 moments from day 1 of YNW Melly's trial is Mina Lona. She is a serial.
I just don't see how a motherfucker could throw their life away like that, bro. Even not a rich person, just a regular nigga who killing someone in general. Why do y'all care to throw y'all life away?
XM personality and a host at 100.3 in Philadelphia. That's an R&B station. Mina, welcome back to Sidebar. Thanks for coming on.
Hi, thank you for having me once again.
Yeah, I'm really excited to have you back.
Bro, come on.
Take a look and get right to it with
Somebody care about y'all having each other back.
State Attorney Christine Bradley, who talks
YouTube, this is an
about
informational video, by the way.
what she believes happened in this case.
On October 26th of 2018, this defendant shot and killed 2 of his friends. He killed Christopher Thomas and Anthony Williams. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to set out the story and how this unfolded, and lay out what I expect the evidence will show during the course of this trial. First thing you're going to hear is that at 4:35 a.m. on October 26th of 2018, Cortland Henry, the co-defendant, shows up at Memorial Miramar Hospital. In his car, he has 2 dead bodies. In the front passenger seat is Anthony Williams. In the rear passenger seat is Christopher Thomas. They are dead, they are riddled with bullets, and the car is full of blood. Christopher Thomas is sitting in the rear. There is multiple defects to his body. Anthony Williams, who is sitting in the front, has 2 major injuries.
I wish they had pictures set up and shit, because I can't visualize what the hell she... 2 rear major, front, top, bottom, right. Bro, I don't know what the hell she... You feel me? Like, bro, show an image or something.
Officer Jessica Amangor is working a detail at the hospital. Cortland Henry runs in, starts telling a story about a drive-by.
I couldn't go to, like, court and, like, cause, like, if I was Melly, bro, I would, like, hate her face and hate her, cause she's, like, literally trying to get me killed here. Pretty much. You're trying to get me killed, and you're like, making it like, well, I don't know if he did or not. Free Melly if he didn't, fuck him if he did, you feel me? I'm not finna stick up for a nigga who murdering niggas, you feel me? But, like, her face would piss me off, cause it's like, bro, that, you know, you might be, you feel me? That's the energy I be, you might be next, bro. You really over here saying, I did it, and he killed, like, bro, you, come on, man. But that's her job, but that face would make me mad.
Quote unquote, drive-by.
All right.
And low-key, I feel like, I might watch another video, cause if they don't show, like, pictures and shit, I don't care about them talking, bro. But I feel like, bro, as a cop or as whatever these niggas judge, it's low-key easy to just figure out if niggas... First of all, it's hard to lie, for real. And definitely, like... I mean, sometimes niggas could plan out their lie they gonna make up, so it could be kind of easy. But if niggas didn't plan it out, it really is hard to lie. Definitely about... Because, bro, they gonna act... Bro, it's hard to slip up. It's really easy to catch these niggas lacking, bro. Honestly, if you know, these cops is trash. I ain't no cop, and I'm not saying that. I just know how to catch motherfuckers lying, because, you know, when I'm lying, that shit be kind of hard. You feel me? But it's like, you could just tell off simple shit, bro. How the nigga ran in there, how he was talking, how, you know, it's just vibe type thing. I ain't no I ain't no officer.
The state
or no
says
shit.
this
But it's just common knowledge.
Drive-by, that it was staged.
Nigga walk in that whole time, we just got hit by a drive-by.
Your thoughts on how...
And it's only bullets inside the car on some shit. It's like, you feel me?
Started off her case.
I honestly, after hearing her full remarks, I have more questions than answers. I thought our opening statement was going to give more clarity as to what happened and why they believe this was a, you know, not a drive-by and a shooting that happened within the car. But I didn't get many answers from what she said. They mentioned that they were using...
Bro, and what else is so funny? It's so funny. Every time it's a celebrity, like, shooting, killing, or something, or anything, bro, I swear it's never cameras around. But if I go rob something, I bet there will be camera footages on. If I go rob a bank, there will be a camera footage from outside of my house. And nigga next neighbors have a camera. My driving there, a camera on every angle, my whole path, bro. I swear, like. But when it's a celebrity, there's no cameras nowhere ever. Like, come on, bro. Let's be real. Let's be real, bro.
All you know,
I
the
had
two
seen this
defendants
film.
and then the 2 people who have passed away in the same car at
I had seen niggas on TikTok talking about it. You could tell that's a fake stretch, but them niggas be trolling.
The 2 people who have passed away.
But you can't tell that's one of those type of stretches. Like, what y'all finna do? Looking ass, but I don't know.
They mentioned traffic cams. They mentioned forensic evidence was found in the car. A case was found in the car.
YNW where the fuck Juvie
at? They mentioned a whole bunch of things that didn't answer the question. What happened here? What happened? Where is the evidence tying it to Melly? And did Melly commit this murder? And where is that evidence that points to him?
And we heard only a little bit about that. One thing that they pointed to, Mina, that I thought was interesting was the social media message. Social media has become a huge part of criminal prosecutions. Everything you say and do is logged on social media or on your phone. And prosecutors say they have a very incriminating Instagram message from Melly on the morning of the murders, after the murders occurred. So let's take a listen.
You'll see on October 26th, after about 8 a.m. in the morning, Eastern time, multiple messages are coming in. Messages are coming in from individuals checking to see if he's okay, if he's been injured in this drive-by. If it's true that Anthony Williams, who's also sometimes referred to as Sack, and Chris Thomas, who is referred to as Juvie, are really dead.
My niggas, man.
One individual, and specifically, sends out, and I want to quote the message exactly that you will hear, and says, right after this.
Bro, I ain't trying to give y'all niggas tips and tricks or anything on, you feel me, anything like that. But first of all, like, I don't even want to say, like, yeah, I mean, but like, bro, if you're gonna do something, you have to be smart, bro. Like, nigga, bro, first of all, like, I don't even want to, like, I don't want to put y'all on game on how to complete a murder. Like, that's how I sound saying this. But first of all, bro, I'm not finna say that shit, bro. That just sounds stupid, giving y'all a plan on how to murder and get away with it. I ain't gonna say it, bro. But don't kill a nigga then text everybody. Oh my god, like, don't, come on, bro.
You know something.
Let me see what you said.
Let me know something. And so, ladies and gentlemen, this is where context matters. What does that mean? If you work at Google and you say, my whole floor is coding, that's a good thing. If you work at Broward General Hospital and you say, my whole floor is coding, that is a bad thing. The context around the messages matters. So in the context of this message, this individual is reaching out, asking if Mr. Demons is good, after he's been tagged in multiple social media posts about this drive-through, this shooting.
Stop doing that bullshit.
And Mr. Demons responds very succinctly, I did that. Shh.
So the state is basically saying that Melly confessed to this, Mina. So what are your thoughts about that message?
That was the one surprising thing that I think was probably the strongest point that she made. Up until that point, I felt like a lot of the evidence that she said that they had was circumstantial and would not prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Melly created the murder. I think that one message is probably the strongest thing that they have. That,
like, if you just did something, why would you text, I did that shit? At least delete that, though. At least delete it, bro, or something. It's
some sort of
call or something.
An admission of
I don't
guilt.
know.
I want more
use a different
on that.
phone. I don't know.
Who was this message to? How do we know they were talking about that? They have
That
to
nigga
prove
look weird
that.
as hell.
And I think on the other end of it is that being the only piece of evidence that they might have that some sort of way admits some guilt, but they have no gun. So there's not a gun that's been found. They have no video of them in this alleged alley that the prosecution is claiming, you know, they drove through. There was no cameras. There's no evidence of tying Melly to this crime except for this one message. So if this is what they have to convince the jurors beyond a reasonable doubt that this very vague message is about the shooting and is in some way some admission of guilt. And in my perspective, I think it's not enough.
Well, Melly's defense attorney, David A. Howard, he doesn't think it's enough either. And he says his client is on trial because Miramar police conducted a sloppy investigation and basically decided he was guilty from the get-go. Take a listen.
Since 2018 is
3
crazy.
years after arresting this young man and sticking him in a cell, the state looks at its case and says, oh man, this looks a little incompetent. Miramar police seems to have botched this investigation, and they call the Broward Sheriff's Office and ask them to come and look at the investigation upon which this entire prosecution rests. And he looks at it, and he says he instantly knew he had to start from scratch. I think his words were, it was the worst thing I had seen in my life. This is the Broward Sheriff's Office evaluating the work product of the Miramar Police Department. And we have problems with the Broward Sheriff's Office redo as well, but you're gonna hear about that during the course of this trial.
I don't know what this nigga's talking about.
Ladies and gentlemen, the murder of anybody and the murder of these two young men was a tragedy. You're not here to solve a crime. That's their job, and they have watched it.
All right, Mina, this is something we commonly hear in these
nothing.
cases, that the police didn't dot all their I's and cross all of their T's, that they did a bad job. Your thoughts on what they are arguing thus far?
I will say he raised doubt in my mind because up to this, we didn't know much about this trial. And all we knew were that they believed that Melly committed the shooting because he was sitting at the rear of the car on the passenger side. And some of the angles from the forensic evidence pointed that it came from that angle, right? But until this point, I didn't know if there were any other people that potentially could have done this, this murder. But this attorney actually place a large amount of reasonable doubt into my mind. I'm going to read off some of my notes here because in that opening statement, he mentioned a couple of people. First of all, he started to point at the driver. The driver apparently had an inconsistent story, had a change of clothes, which I wasn't aware of until this point, and had gunpowder on his hands, according to this attorney. So that placed a large amount of reasonable doubt into my mind. He also mentioned another individual, Montrell Roll, who was discussing specifics about this murder that weren't available to the public. He mentioned another social media person called Mr. Coburn, who somehow admitted to some, some murders. He basically really made me think that maybe some other people are involved and the police have not really investigated those avenues.
Well, Mina, you kind of stole my thunder there a little bit, but it's okay. You're on top of it. I say that I love you. It's so funny. We were kind of on the same wavelength here. But you're right. I mean, he is saying there are a lot of issues with this case. And one of the things he says is that the Miramar police ignored other leads and didn't look at other people, specifically people who were essentially confessing to these murders. And again, social media comes up.
Then there's Robert Coburn. Who is he? He's a gentleman that owns a social media account by the name of Backwards. This social media account, almost immediately, within days after these murders, posts this message: LOL, we killed 2 of your niggas.
Did he really just say that?
We killed 2 of your niggas. Oh, really? Took him 7 months to go and talk to Mr. Coburn, the owner of this account, that posts what amounts to an unequivocal confession to involvement in that murder, in those murders. 7 months. Why? Moretti already had his guy. And when they go and talk to Mr. Coburn, what does he say? He said, oh, I created that account and I sold it for $20 to somebody else. Who'd you sell it to? Oh, I can't remember. Were you at the murder scene? No. Did you do it? No. Case closed. That's it. No more investigation. It would occur to a reasonable person, let alone a seasoned investigator acting in good faith.
So, Mina, we have somebody on social media saying we did it or I did it. And he's saying police didn't tie up that loose end. They didn't explore that avenue because they already had their guy. Kind of something you alluded to earlier.
Yeah, I mean, that was very, very obvious from some of even the people that they brought on the stand. I mean, one particular, the lead detective, the Miramar PD, Hector Bertrand, while he was questioning Mr. Colton Henry, who's the driver, he said, I think I know what happened here. And he's, Mr. Henry is telling him, we were the victims of a drive-by shooting and I feared for my life and this happened and I'm scared. And the PD, the lead detective says, okay, well, our investigation doesn't prove that this was a drive-by shooting. So tell me what really happened, because I think I know what happened. So I think even that in itself, to me, really supported what that attorney was saying, in that they already had their guy and they wanted to kind of, I guess, make that kind of align the evidence so it points to Melly without having concrete evidence.
Well, the first witness called to the stand was Miramar police officer Jessica Amangor. She was on duty at the hospital in the emergency room that morning
I'm just eating my popcorn, sit back and watching, man. I don't know what happened here.
She described YNW Bortland, that's Cortland Henry, coming into the ER.
So I'm sitting at the ER desk, and he comes running inside to my left, so the pediatric entrance, and he's very excited, like heightened state of alert, something traumatic or something just happened. And he's like, hey, they just shot my car, they just shot my friends, like I need help, can you come help me? And that was the initial interaction.
And based on his statement, how do you proceed?
So as soon as I walk out the ER and I see the vehicle had multiple bullet holes on the side, I immediately radio in for additional resources because that's beyond my scope of I can handle by myself. And then asking, hey, I need additional officers, as soon as possible, urgently to respond to the hospital. I have a vehicle that's been involved in a shooting. I can see the multiple bullet holes. And then looking inside the vehicle, I can see 2 unresponsive males. So I advise I have possible dead persons as well.
Then Amangor testified about being at the hospital when Bortland showed up with Juvie and Sack Chaser in the Jeep that morning. Surveillance video played showing the SUV pulling into the hospital, and then Henry going into the ER and Juvie and Sack Chaser being placed on stretchers. Amangor said she tried to help the men, but they were dead. Then there was a somewhat dramatic moment on cross where Melly's attorneys pointed out that the ER was a crime scene, but there was really no log of who was coming and going. There was another moment as well.
Was the crime scene also inside the hospital where Mr. Cortland Henry was?
Yeah, the whole ER was shut down.
Okay, so in other words, no one was allowed in that area that we saw.
Unless they were needing emergency care, that would go to another room, but the ER was shut down.
So I'm real clear. Do you know the names of all, did you document the names of all the officers and detectives that responded?
No, I didn't.
So we're perfectly clear. Could you stand up? You didn't see this young man getting out of the Jeep at any time, correct?
No, sir.
All right, so we have a couple of things going.
Okay, this is my whole thing. First of all, I don't know. All I ever knew and all the information, I never dug deep into anything. I just was seeing what I seen. And all I knew was YNW Melly was in the car. Boom, 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 gas shot, drive by. But, like, I don't know. When they arrived to the hospital, was Melly in the car? Like, and if he was in the car, was he, like, acting? Like, I don't know if he got shot, acted shot. I don't know what is that about? Like, I don't, like, I don't know, but I don't know.
There.
So I really don't know anything except for 2 of them got killed.
Defense attorneys pointing out that this was a crime scene. Nobody was allowed in or out, but you're not keeping track of who's in and out. So people could have been traipsing around, contaminating the crime scene. Maybe you didn't know who was there or who wasn't. But then this dramatic moment where they have Melly stand up and she's like, yeah, I didn't see him in the Jeep. And the state's whole thing is that Melly was in the back of the car, fired the shots, and then they staged it to look like a drive-by, but he's nowhere to be found.
Right. I think it just adds to the questions. That attorney is doing a great job of just, instead of allowing the prosecution to, carry out their narrative, he's adding to the questions of, well, you guys didn't properly handle this. Why? Where's the log? Did you do this? Did you do that? I thought another really important moment was during that video where they were showing Melly's friends.
These niggas like, bro, get to moving. There's 2 niggas dead, shot, bro. Why y'all niggas just walking in?
Shed a tear from what I saw, and it was an emotional moment for him, which I thought was really, really important to see him kind of tear up and get emotional at seeing his friends carried out on the stretcher and headed into the hospital. I thought that was really important as well.
It's very interesting, and obviously they have, I'm sure, spoken with Melly about how he is to conduct himself in the courtroom. I mean, he's been in jail for 4 years. They've had years to prepare for this trial. So they know what's coming in the evidence. They see the witnesses who get on the stand. They basically know what they're going to testify to. So there is a little bit of showmanship going on here, a little bit of, performance art. We always have that in trials.
Show with you. Why are you looking at that?
What were your thoughts on everything that we saw today? I
thought it was super interesting. I still have a lot of questions.
It's interesting for sure.
Know what exactly they have that's tying Melly to this.
Right.
That's
you know,
facts.
I'm interested in the fact that they're saying that the state attorney's office went to the sheriff's office and said, hey, can you look this over? I want to hear more about that. That they're saying this is the biggest mess we've ever seen, because that to me is very concerning, because you can't go back in time. You know, we always hear about how important it is in the first stages of the investigation to collect all of the evidence and get it right. So I think we need more information, and it's certainly too early to make up our minds on any of this.
I agree. I also think a fair amount of reasonable doubt was placed during these opening statements, at least in my mind. So I do want to see how this plays out, and what kind of, how they're going to tie all the evidence. Because I think it was really important that the attorney, Melly's attorney, actually started pointing fingers at the other young man. His name is Portland Henry. I never even considered that until this point. But I also thought it was
my whole thing is because, like I said, I don't know any other information except for 2 people killed. Why was it just Melly? Like, why was it Melly or no one? Melly or no one? Like, where did they just get it? Melly or no one? That's my thing. Like, what the hell?
When Officer Jessica Amengor took the stand, she also noted that there was no blood on Henry's clothing as well, and said, I thought that was odd. So
I mean,
now I have a whole nother possibility in my mind.
Free Melly though, man.
As I mentioned before, there are a lot of questions and not enough answers at this point. And hopefully, as the trial moves on, we'll have more answers.
Well, and another thing too, I mean, they said there were 16 holes. This vehicle was riddled with bullets. So if bullets are flying and your friends are being shot, one's in the front seat, another in the back, how are you not getting blood on you? How are you not getting injured? So that is a big question right there. And
you ain't never been in this. You ain't never seen nothing like it, so you don't even know.
Makes complete sense, because he can be the fall guy, or at least one of them. So we're going to be watching this very closely. I'm very interested in it, and we know our audience is too. Mina Lona, thank you as always for coming on. We appreciate it. We'll be watching too.
Hey man, this is interesting. This is very interesting, y'all. I'm not gonna cap. Free Melly till it come out of his mouth that he did it, man. I've been effing with Melly for too long. You feel me? It's tough though. It's tough. RP Sack, RP Juvie, for real though. Hope he didn't do it. Hopefully they get to the bottom of this case though. Hopefully my nigga do not get death penalty, because that's tough. That's more than tough. That's nigga what? You feel me? But yeah, this is an informational video. I might watch another video to see. I like it to see this. This is what I want to see, security footage. But I don't know. It's just like, I just don't know, man. I can't give y'all my opinion. But like, comment, subscribe, check everything down below, man.